The Ashes has always been one of cricket's greatest battlefields, but every now and then a player comes along who doesn't just take part in a series, they completely own it. A handful of cricketers have produced series-long performances so dominant and so unforgettable that they've changed the direction of the Ashes themselves. Today we're looking at the 5 greatest individual Ashes series performances since the year 2000, and coming in at number 5 is Ricky Ponting from 2006 and 7. The 06-07 Ashes were Australia's redemption tour, the chance to wipe away the heartbreak of 05, and leading the charge was Ricky Ponting at his ruthless best. From the first morning in Brisbane, Ponting made his intentions clear. England sent down good balls, he sent them back harder. His 196 in the opening test set the tone for the summer, where he became virtually untouchable. He finished the series with 576 runs, but the numbers don't tell the whole story. Ponting battled with the authority of a champion who refused to lose, and every time England tried to drag themselves into the series, Ponting shut it down. By the time Australia completed the 5-0 whitewash, Ponting had reasserted himself as the game's dominant figure. While the 06-07 series is largely remembered as the last hurrah of 3 greats of the game in Warne, Langer and McGrath, it is undeniable just how dominant Ponting was, and that is why he is in at number 5. Number 4 is Alistair Cook from 2010-11. England hadn't won a series in Australia for 24 years. They'd been humiliated in 06-07, as we just mentioned, and they'd been battered on and off the field. But when the 10-11 Ashes began, something changed. England found their anchor, and his name was Alistair Cook, Sir Alistair Cook. Cook's series wasn't about flair, it was about concentration and endurance, something maybe the England team of today should look at as a blueprint to winning series in Australia. He started with 67 in the first innings, and in the second of the first test, a monumental 235 not out, batting for over 10 hours to turn a certain defeat into a draw. He followed over century after century, 766 runs in total, grinding down Australia with a slow, inevitable patience. This was Cook at his best. By Sydney, Australia were broken, England won 3-1, and Cook had engineered one of the greatest Ashes triumphs away from home of all time. Number 3 is Mitchell Johnson 2013-14. Everyone knows about this, but just so good. And every Ashes series has a defining villain or hero depending on what side you're on. But in 2013-14 that was Mitchell Johnson. Coming off the back of being dropped for Australia's 2013 away campaign in England, he sought revenge, and well, I think revenge was served. In one of the greatest comeback campaigns in Ashes history, he was a force of nature, bowling 150. He delivered a level of intimidation not seen in decades. His opening spell at Brisbane set in motion a summer of destruction. England flinching, edges flying, stumps cartwheeling. By the end, he picked up 37 wickets. But more importantly, he had shattered England's confidence so thoroughly that when the series was over, before it even began. Adelaide, Brisbane, Perth, it didn't matter. Every pitch became his pitch. Every session became a chance for carnage. The 5-0 result wasn't just a win, it was a complete and utter demolition job. Number 2, Shane Warne 2005. The 2005 Ashes are remembered for the drama, chaos and rebirth of English cricket, but beneath all of that was one man fighting against the tide. Shane Warne. In his final Ashes series away from home, Warne produced a performance that transcended the statistics. Though the numbers themselves are staggering, 40 wickets and over 250 runs, and influence over every single moment the ball was in play. While Australia's other superstars faltered, Warne dragged his side for the series almost single-handedly, nearly winning the unwinnable in Edgbaston. Trent Bridge. His over to Strauss at Trent Bridge defied physics. The Oval batting and bowling heroics in a desperate final stand. Warne didn't just dominate matches, he changed the psychology of this entire series. It was the greatest Ashes farewell imaginable, a master of his craft, performing at the very peak of cricket's biggest stage, just narrowly losing out on bringing the series home for his team. And at number 1, you've probably guessed it, it is Steve Smith 2019. Smith came into the 2019 Ashes looking for revenge, much like Johnson years prior, but he carried more than just being dropped. Smith had just returned from his suspension for his part in the 2018 Cape Town ball tampering scandal. Smith was met with boos and jeers everywhere he went in that series. But by the series end, every ball England bowled carried a single question: how do we get Steve Smith out? The answer, as it turned out, was you don't. Smith wasn't just good in 2019, he was unstoppable. 774 runs in just 4 tests, twin hundreds at Edgbaston, a defiant masterpiece at Old Trafford after being floored by Jofra Archer weeks earlier. Options didn't matter, the crowd didn't matter, the hostility, the pressure, the expectation, none of it mattered. Smith played like a man operating off a completely different level to anyone else. Batsmen usually survive, he thrived, he battled through the ball as it arrived in slow motion. England tried everything, bounces, field trips, pace, spin, mind games, nothing worked. It was one of the greatest batting exhibitions you've ever seen in an Ashes series, the best since Bradman, and a fitting way to announce your comeback to the world. Anyways, that is the end of today's video. Leave a like and subscribe, and comment down below if you agree with this list or what you would change, and I'll see you in the next video.